Welcome into 3 Questions with Ivan Maisel, where Ivan brings his insight on all things college football to the table on a weekly basis. Ivan got a Michigan-centric line of questioning for you. They have the Nittany Lions of Penn State coming to the Big House this coming weekend. Going to be a whole lot of fun. But for JJ McCarthy, still a young gun. Obviously, they threw him the keys to the offense. What is your level of concern for him against this, let's say, a little bit more formidable Penn State defense than he's been accustomed to these last few weeks?
Well, they are formidable, JD, and let's give credit to Manny Diaz, who's come into State College and done a really good job. Manny is he's an aggressive DC, and that can usually be a test for a young quarterback. But you got to give JJ McCarthy credit. He's gone on the road against Iowa, another very good defense, a little more traditional in how they approach it. Gone on the road to Indiana and played both games well. At least competently, if not well. But I think his numbers were pretty good in both games. So to me, he's passed every test.
Yeah, his numbers have been phenomenal. I believe he's still leading the country in terms of completion percentage. My one concern, if that's even the right word to use, is whenever there's a young quarterback, it always feels like maybe there's that growing pain, whether it's a moment, whether it's a quarter, whether it's a game. There's some sort of growing pain phase that he is yet to go through. I just wonder if maybe that's something that happens this coming weekend against a good defense like Penn State. Now, shifting our focus a little bit more to the game itself for both programs, Michigan, obviously, they won the Big Ten a season ago, played for the college football playoff. They look a little bit different. Like we just talked about, new guy at quarterback, a lot of new faces on defense. But how much would a win against this good Penn State team validate who Michigan believes they are in that locker room?
Well, look, there's 3 really good teams in the East, and this is a showdown between 2 of them. I mean, if you're looking at legacy, if you're looking at season accomplishment, we both understand nothing will be decided about Michigan until Thanksgiving weekend. But this is a pretty big game too, and against a good Penn State defense. Again, I think Manny Diaz has done a good job. They're a little more aggressive, and it's not the secondary is terrific, but they're getting pressure from all over the field. So it'll be a good test for Michigan.
I like that you said that about Thanksgiving weekend. Obviously, a crash course for Michigan and Ohio State to likely have a very impactful game that weekend, obviously, for both teams and their postseason hopes. But speaking of the postseason, with all of the changes around this Michigan program, it feels like there's probably a little bit of pressure on Jim Habraugh. At least it feels like it to me because of the big change you made at quarterback, right? You had a guy in Caden McNamara that won the Big Ten for you, like we already talked about, got you to the playoff, and you voluntarily made a switch there. They've looked really solid so far. Obviously, we're going to learn a lot about them in this game. But in your mind today, is Michigan a college football playoff team?
Well, I think as much as you can say in week 7, yes. A lot can happen between now and then. And I'm not trying to dodge the question, but, I think there are a number of teams that we look at as number 4. If we assume that Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State are 1, 2, 3, I think Michigan is a prime candidate to be that number 4. We all had questions about whether the defense would be able to match last season when they had such a good push up front, but they've gotten it. A little different. It's come from a few different places. Mike Morris has done a good job on the line, and Sanders still has been just a revelation as a safety that can do almost anything on defense, switching from offense. So they're fun to watch, and they're good. They don't beat themselves. Blake Corum's having a really good year at running back. I think that, Michigan is definitely in the mix for the playoff.
And credit to Jim Habraugh to sort of evolve as a program and the way they do things, like you just alluded to, losing 2 NFL edge rushers, losing a lot of guys on that side of the ball, switching quarterbacks. Like, they understood they had to do something different. And to this point in the year, still got a clean slate when it comes to that loss column. So we'll learn a lot about them, obviously, this coming weekend against Penn State. Well, Ivan, as always, appreciate you coming on here to drop some insight for us. What are your plans for this college football weekend? Are you staying put at home base? Are you out on the road? What's the plans?
Well, I was halfway to Ann Arbor, but But the way Alabama played Saturday, and due to the fact that Tennessee hasn't beaten them since 2006, I'm headed to Knoxville.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. So I definitely will be living vicariously through you with you being at that game. But Ivan, again, thanks so much. Safe travels, and we'll do this again real soon.
Thanks, JD.
Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.